Today I'm going to be unboxing and reviewing another Amazon flute, and this one is the Vangoa closed hole C flute. So without further ado, let's get to it. Hi everyone, I'm Lance. I'm a professional flutist and teacher, and my goal is to inform and inspire your flute practice. In this video, I am unboxing and reviewing the Vangoa closed hole C flute from Amazon. And first of all, I'd like to thank the people at Vangoa for sending me one of these flutes to try for you all. However, I just want to let you know that this video is not sponsored in any other way. Today we're going to start by unboxing the Vangoa closed hole C flute. We're going to talk a little bit about technical specs, and I'm going to do some play tests. I usually like to read some of the comments and reviews from Amazon. However, I think this flute might be a little bit newer to Amazon, so there aren't really any comments or reviews to speak of. So I'm going to be curious to hear what you guys think about the Vangoa closed hole C flute based on this video, or if maybe you've purchased the Vangoa already and have some experience with it. Please let me know in the comments. But before we move on, if you're interested in seeing more flute content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already and hit that notification bell as well. Okay, on to the unboxing. So already I like the decoration on this box. As you can see, there's a picture of the flute with the Vangoa logo. Here we have some shipping instructions. I like this, do not stress. It's good advice. Also on the other side, we have some QR codes that lead to their social media pages. Oh, there's something in there. Great. So in the box, I have this handy flute stand. I love these. What you do is you just twist out the bottom, then the legs fall out, and you twist that top back on. You set this on the floor, and the flute will sit right on that. Also, there is what looks like a microfiber cleaning cloth. Oh, no, that's not a cleaning cloth. Oh, I see. This is for the inside, perhaps. I'm used to seeing this type of cleaning cloth more for clarinets. I guess it would work okay on flute, but honestly, it might not be the best method of cleaning the inside of your flute. Also, there's a little bristle brush. I'm not sure what you really want to use this for. I think it's kind of useless. I'm going to go ahead and take the flute out of the plastic covering. Also in here we have an owner's manual. This just has some basic information about how to put together the flute and how to clean it. Oh, there's also a fingering chart. This is pretty small, but I think it's legible. So there's some useful stuff in here. Here's the case. Looks very similar to a lot of the other Amazon flutes that I own. Oh, I'm going to look in the outside zipper first. This is just a shoulder strap. So if you wanted to carry this on your shoulder, you'd snap it here and here. Oh, come on. And there, now I can carry it on my shoulder. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open up the case. Oh, so there's more stuff inside. We have some gloves, and from your comments, I now know that I'm supposed to cut these tips off if I want to use them while I'm playing. So thanks for that info. Here's another cleaning cloth. This looks fairly nice. See, it has the Vangoa logo on it. Also, it comes with a screwdriver. And this is one of the nicer screwdrivers that I've seen coming with these types of flutes. We'll see if it fits. Also, it looks like there are a few capsules of joint grease. As I've mentioned in previous reviews, joint grease for metal flutes is not really a thing. You're going to use it more for things like piccolo, or if there's a cork connection. However, on these metal-to-metal connections, I wouldn't recommend using the joint grease because it can gum up and make your head joint really difficult to fit in, for example. It could make the problem worse. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and take the flute out of the plastic and see what we have. Here's the head joint with the tenon cap. Oh, and there is a cleaning rod inside the body. Similar to some of these other flutes, there are little pieces of cork right here under the key arms on the back side of the flute. And this is just to make sure that the keys aren't rattling around when the flute is being shipped. On other flutes, I've seen them in plastic, but these are in cork. I don't think it makes a huge difference. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove those. One of these is really difficult to get at, so I'm going to just use the screwdriver they gave me to see if I can just pull that cork piece out. There we go. It's very important to remove all of these cork pieces before you start to play, because otherwise the keys won't be able to come up. And it looks like it's a similar situation on the foot joint. Okay, so now my Vangoa flute is all unpacked, and I am going to go ahead and put it together. All right, that came together fairly easily. This Vangoa flute is made out of cupronickel, which is an alloy of copper and nickel. It's additionally nickel-plated. The keys of this flute are closed hole rather than open hole. This style is also known as plateau. The Vangoa closed hole flute comes with a C foot, meaning that middle C is the lowest note on this flute. It also features an offset G key, which can be a little bit more ergonomically comfortable, especially for those with smaller hands. Last but not least, this flute also has a split E mechanism. High E can often be a problematic note, but this feature helps it to speak cleanly and clearly with less effort. You can find a link to this flute on Amazon down in the description. I'm going to see how useful this screwdriver is. And right now I'm just taking a look at some of these screws on the rods, and some of them were a little bit loose, so I'm just tightening them up a little bit. This screwdriver fits very well for that. I'm just going to double check all of the screws here. Okay. All set. So I think we are ready for a playtest. Before we continue with the playtest, I just want to let you know that I did make a few small adjustments to this flute. And since some of you have asked how I do this in the past, I'll just give you a really quick summary. So right now we're going to be looking at the F keys. And when I push down this one key, you see that 3 keys go down with one finger. And these keys have to be in pretty decent coordination in order for that note to sound well. So what I've done is I've enlarged the difference. I've made it worse than it actually was, just so that hopefully you'll be able to see on the camera that when I push these keys down very lightly, there is a pretty large gap in one of them. In order to fix that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the screw that connects them. Sometimes they're on top, sometimes they're in back. In this case, this one's in the back. I'm going to use the screwdriver that they provided. And since the key that I'm pushing down with my finger is the one with the gap, I'm going to remove some of the length of the screw that's pushing through, and that's going to make this key come down a little bit lighter and this key come down a little bit heavier. So I'm going to go in the back and I'm just going to ease that screw a little bit counterclockwise. Take a look at where I'm at. It needs a little bit more. So I'm going to again ease it counterclockwise just a little bit. I'm pressing down on the secondary key, which is this one, so that I have easier access to the screw. That seems to be a lot better. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this on camera, but to my eye, those are closing a lot more evenly than they were before. So now that this flute is slightly more tuned up, I'm going to go ahead and go on to the playtest, starting with a full chromatic range test and then some musical examples. Well, that was fun. But what did you think about this Vangoa closed hole C flute? Please let me know down in the comments. So here are some of my first impressions about the Vangoa closed hole C flute. I think that this flute is very comparable to a lot of the other Amazon flutes in this price range, such as the Glory and the Mendini, which I've reviewed before. It has very similar specs to some of those other flutes, such as being made out of cupronickel with nickel plating, having an offset G and a split E, and also a C foot. I think that the key action was pretty good and pretty even overall. It's a little bit heavier than my professional flute, but it works. As you could see, I could still get a good amount of speed. I did have to make a few minor screw adjustments to get this flute to seal properly. However, this has been the case with pretty much every flute that I've gotten off of Amazon to some extent. In the end, it comes down to sound, and so it's just about your own personal preference. I wonder what you guys think about the sound of this flute as compared to the Glory and Mendini, if you remember those reviews. For me, I thought this flute had a rather pleasant tone quality throughout the registers. It was pretty even tone quality. Also, I thought that the response was pretty decent. On the Amazon description, it says that there's a slightly higher copper content in the tubing of this flute, and I think that could theoretically lead to a slightly warmer, maybe a little bit reedier sound. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. Also, similar to the other Amazon flutes in this price point, I think this flute could be well suited to things like marching band, or maybe if you're just a beginner and are trying to figure out if you want to play the flute at all. In those cases, it's not a very large investment, and I think it could easily get you through a marching season or maybe a few weeks of just playing around, messing around with the flute to see if you like it. And for those people, I think this could be a good choice. Well, that's it for this video, and thanks again to the people at Vangoa for sending me this closed hole C flute for me to try out and for you guys to listen to. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some value out of it. If so, please let me know down in the comments and by giving it a like. Also, for more informational and inspirational flute content like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell as well. Thanks for watching.